All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to tonight's live stream. Hope you guys are having a fantastic Saturday. Today I want to show you my bullish case for Bitcoin. I don't think it's gone unnoticed on Twitter that I've exited the crypto market. I'm not super bullish or I'm not super bearish. If you have if you could say that if you have bearish here and bullish here and neutral in the middle, I'm somewhere between neutral and bullish, and I'm gonna show you tonight what needs to happen on the Bitcoin chart for me to cross over from neutral to the bullish side of the bias, right? And it's pretty clear. The levels are very clear, and my plan for Bitcoin is super clear. I'm going to show you exactly what I will, like, when I will be buying, right? So before we go into the Bitcoin analysis, I just want to say that this video today is sponsored by crypto.com, and you probably already know all about them. It's like probably one of the biggest crypto company out there right now. They're pretty much everywhere. So on crypto.com, it's exactly the only exchange where you can trade over 200 pairs with up to 10x leverage, and you have over 40 perpetual futures contracts. And if you sign up using the link in the description below, you will be given, yes, they will give you 50 USD in their native token, which is CRO. And the fundamentals of the CRO and the technicals look very, very good. So this is pretty much a win-win scenario for you guys. So check out the link in the description below and get on crypto.com. If you have any questions regarding anything that I'm talking about tonight, please type it in the chat. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and like the video so we can get that YouTube algo working for us. All right, so what's happening on Bitcoin? Well, we haven't really invalidated the daily trend, right? Because like something I always repeat over and over and over again, it's market structure, right? You should always focus on market structure first and foremost, right? And a key principle in trading, at least the way I trade, because I'm a trend trader, so a key principle for me is always trade in the direction of the overall trend. And usually I determine the overall trend on the daily. And what I need to see on the daily is higher highs and higher lows. That's going to determine if it's an uptrend or not. And I don't really care how the highs and how the lows look. I don't really care if this is a possible double top. I don't really care about that. The only thing I care about is we have a low, we have a higher low, and we have a potentially a new higher low here with a high and the higher high. Technically still an uptrend. Right? And the way I'm trading is, if this is the primary trend, then I want to be long on the secondary trends, which is these ones right here. This is a secondary trend, uptrend, downtrend, uptrend, and downtrend. I want to go long on the secondary uptrends. And that is what my whole potential bullish scenario for Bitcoin and my next trade going to be on Bitcoin. And that is when the secondary trend is confirmed to be bullish. And as you can see here, we are so close to invalidating this high time frame idea of an uptrend, because if we actually go lower than this low, well, then the daily trend is invalidated, and I need to wait for a new bullish primary high time frame trend to develop before I can think about any longs, and that could take a while. Now, of course, you can see something like this, right? It dip down and then start climbing up, right? And that would be a new daily primary uptrend most likely, and I would then look for longs in the secondary trends. But that is way in the future. We haven't really had that, like that scenario is not happening right now. And of course, you always have to plan for different scenarios. So of course, I have that in the back of my head. But what I want to show you now is what I think, what's the next probable bullish scenario. And I have two setups for you. Well, one setup and one one idea that would kind of invalidate the high time frame trend. So the first thing we are going to look at is this chart right here, and we are what I consider this to be the start of a range, right? It kind of looks like we're developing a range here on the 4 hour, and if you zoom out here, you will also see that on the daily, I've added some Fibonacci levels right here. And I've used this low of the Fibonacci tool and this high as the high. So you can see the 1 and the 0. So I drew the fib from that low to that high, right? And that brings in the 50% level right here. Now, if you go down to the 4 hour, you will see that the 50% level is also consonant with the range EQ of the 4 hour range. And for those of you who are new, range EQ stands for range equilibrium, and it's basically just a fancy word for the middle of the range. And usually the way I like to trade a range is dependent on the high time frame trend. And now, because of the fact that the high time frame trend is bullish, I only want to look for longs inside this range. And my favorite setup, which I'm not using that often because I'm a trend trader, not a range trader, my favorite setup when trading a range is to go long on the reclaim of range EQ up to range highs. So what I'm looking for is a break. Just like if I would be trading a break and retest of a horizontal level, I'm looking for a break above this resistance. I then want to see a clean breakout, a rounded retest, a clean break and retest. What I mean by that is this is exactly that, right? This is a clean breakout, and this is the first retest after a breakout because there's no touches in between the breakout and the retest, and that is a clean break and retest. That's exactly what I want to see here. And the setup I'm about to show you here is part range trade and part swing trade, where I'm using the range trading technique to get a good entry, and I would then leave part of the position open in case we break out of the range. Because remember, the higher time frames are still bullish, so I believe that a break to the upside at this point is because of the fact that the higher time frames are bullish. I think just looking at that, a break to the upside should be more likely. But I also think that the resistances are much stronger than supports at this point. So it's kind of like a 50-50, right? But if we reclaim range EQ, I do think we're going to hit range high. But the question is then, will we break out or will we continue lower? So the setup is this one, right? Now we had to redraw a couple of levels because you see that this fib right here is drawn from that low. But now that we have a new low, a lower low, I have to draw a new fib. And the way I'm basically using the fib tool to try to anticipate where the bounce will be, right? So I'm using that low and I'm drawing the fib up to the range high, right? Because what I'm thinking is we might have, like, the best case scenario for this setup to get activated is for us to break out, right? Or we'll break above range EQ, just like we did here. We break above range EQ, hit range high, and then come back to range EQ, and that's where we want to go long if there's a confirmed bounce. And if I draw the fib from that low to the range high, anticipating that breakout and hit of range high, now the test of the range EQ is going to be right on the 50% fib, obviously, because it's a range and it's from the range low to range high. So it would be right on the 50% fib. And we can also expect a wick to come down and test the reload zone right here, right? So you can see on my extensions right here that they're not perfect, right? They're absolutely not perfect right here. But I've added some horizontal levels here based on the previous fib, and I do think that the levels on the previous fib is much better at as take profit targets, because I'm basically just looking at past resistances, past clear resistances, and looking at like where do I think price will run into a trouble area, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be at some of these, horizontal levels. So this is going to be the first possible setup that I'm about to show, to share with you guys. And this is a high risk and a high reward trade, right? Very high risk, but also quite high reward. So let's say we get a bounce here. Let's say we bounce off the 618, you get a 4-hour bullish engulfing, you reclaim the 50, you might enter here, stop loss below the low of the range. Now, ideally, you want TP1 to be at the range highs, but it's only on 0.84. So depending on your entry, like if you get a move like this and you hit the range EQ and you get a 4-hour bullish engulfing, if your entry is confirmed, like if you market buy when there's a confirmed entry, you can have a much tighter stop loss right below the RLC, and then at that point the TP1, which is the range highs, will be 1.29, which is obviously pretty good. So that would be TP1, TP2 at around 54.7, TP3 at 59, and then TP4, I think that would be a moon bag if we break higher into new all-time highs. I would probably exit that if the because if we get a move, if we do get a move, like this, we're probably also going to develop some type of 4-hour uptrend. So the moon bag, like TP1, TP2, TP3, then TP4 would be the moon bag, and that moon bag would be exit if the uptrend breaks. If the higher highs and higher lows breaks into lower lows and lower highs, right? So this is something that I'm obviously going to update the members of the Birb Nest. I'm looking at this constantly. I have alerts. This alert, for example, says above range EQ. So I get my alerts on my phone, for example, and it says, Bitcoin above range EQ. I run down to my office, I make a new alert, and I then post for the members of the Birb Nest and constantly try to update them on what's happening, right? But this is a high risk reward trade. I'm not sure I'm going to take this trade, right? I just wanted to show you guys a setup that I think looks pretty good, but I'm probably not going to take this trade. I am looking to take a swing trade. And that swing trade is going to be based on the reclaim of the weekly 20 EMA, right? So the weekly 20 EMA is right up here. And we're looking at this shot right here. And this is the bullish scenario, right? This is definitely the bullish scenario where you see the general uptrend right here, higher highs and higher lows on the daily, and you see that the dip, that wick on the daily, came right down into the reload zone, the 0.618 complement weekly 50 EMA, and then if you add the weekly 20 EMA, you're gonna get this, right? And this is what I'm looking at, right? This is what I'm looking at. I want to see a break and retest of the weekly 20 EMA. And if the weekly 20 EMA gets reclaimed on Bitcoin, we're most likely going to see a rounded bottom on the daily. And we are quite possibly going to break the bearish local market structure by forming a high and a higher low. I want to go long on the higher low, which we're hopefully going to see on the reclaim of the weekly 20 EMA. So a break above the weekly 20 EMA, a retest of the weekly 20 EMA to create a higher low, and we then break this downtrend. That is the bearish secondary trend, and this would then be the start of a new bullish secondary trend within the bigger high time frame bullish primary trend. And as I said before, I'm a trend trader that looks I look to ride these secondary trends. I don't really hold for the primary trend. I just ride the secondary trends up and down, and I want confirmation on the daily, but I'm trading the 4-hour trend, right? So the daily has to confirm, and that's what we're looking at right here. So the confirmation would be a daily open and close above the weekly 20 EMA. I would then want to see a retest on the weekly, and that retest could be could be on the 4-hour a rounded bottom on the 4 hour. It doesn't have to be a perfect retest on the daily, but it needs to look good on the 4 hour, right? And if we do get that, imagine if we break out today or tomorrow on a Monday, we're most likely going to get a 4 hour double bottom, a 4 hour W, where we break and retest the neckline of the W, and that would also most likely break this current downtrend. So it all kind of aligns with the idea of the confirmation of Bitcoin being bullish is also going to confirm, or it's the other way around, right? A confirmation of a new secondary bullish trend would also confirm the high time frame bullish trend on Bitcoin, the primary trend. So it's actually what I think that it's actually pretty simple right here. What we need to see in Bitcoin is quite obvious. And that's the type of setups that I want to take. I want to take the trades, which is just, you look at the chart and it's kind of like it's slapping you in the face, just screaming at you, this is the setup to take. This is the obvious setup to take. That's the type of setups that I want to take. And that's the type of setup that usually is my biggest winners, right? Now, if you look at this scenario right here, it's very speculative, right? Because you're basically betting on this to happen. Or god damn it, there's so many charts on here, I can't really keep track of it all. So what you're doing is this setup right here, if you go long based on this, you're basically saying, I think this is going to happen, right? You're saying, I think this is going to happen. Well, that's not the way I trade. I don't sit around and think about what I think will happen. I wait for something to happen. And when that happens, I'm going to go long. Now, that means I'm going to miss out on a 10% move to the upside, most likely, right? So I'm going to miss out, and let me repeat this, right? I am giving away 10% potential profits to take a setup which I believe has much higher probability. And that is where high risk and high reward comes into play, right? The first setup I showed you, high risk, high reward. This one right here, much lower risk, but also lower reward. And I'm the type of trader who takes low risk and lower reward trades because I know that in the long run, risk management is what's going to keep me in the game. And that's what's going to keep me alive long enough to be able to get a chance to have the big winners. If you're only taking high risk trades, well, chances are that you're going to lose a lot of money and not have enough money for the big winners when they come along. Now, even if I miss, I closed the wrong one. Even if I miss a 10% move, I'm still going to be able to, let's say that move is going to all-time highs and above. Well, it's still going to be a 25 to 30% move on Bitcoin, which is pretty nice, pretty good. The risk to reward could be really, really, really good if you get in on, the bounce. The stop loss could be probably below somewhere here. I mean, the risk to reward on this could be very, very good. I mean, we're talking about a potentially 4 to 5 hour trade, and it's probably going to happen in not too long of time scale. So I think that is a very probable trade. Now, you probably noticed the red lights behind me, and I'm not going to switch to green until we see this happening, because this is why. This is a fairly probable bearish scenario. You look at this chart and you're not going to tell me that this isn't looking bearish, right? It all depends on what perspective do you have, all right? What's your... I remember posting this idea on Twitter a while ago. I got a lot of hate for this. But then we saw that rejection on the daily, and people are like, maybe it does look bearish. And yeah, it does. So it's all about perspective, right? And I think it's very important that you understand this, right? I've just shared you a short on Bitcoin, which I think looks very, very bullish, right? I think it looks very... this one, right? That looks pretty good, looks pretty good. And especially this one. I mean, this looks really good. So this looks like it's just going to continue upwards. Looks really nice. But then you look at this one. And you're like, wait a minute. This looks very bearish. And it's very important to note this, right? Because you might have people on Twitter looking at this scenario. Big accounts, big traders saying, look at this bearish scenario, right? And they start to marry this idea, and they start to identify with the bearish idea, and they kind of become bears, right? And they spread bearish ideas about Bitcoin and screaming like, we're going to go lower, we're going to go to 20K, we're going to go to 10K because look at this, it's a bearish shot. But then you have other people on Twitter, like other big accounts spreading hopium and yelling Bitcoin is going to 100, 200, 300K. And they probably look at something like this, right? So it's just a matter of perspectives, right? What's your bias and what's your perspective on the market? And a true trader is looking at both alternatives, right? You're looking at the bullish scenario and the bearish scenario, and you're then looking for invalidation of the of one of the scenarios, which will activate the other, right? So what would activate this bullish scenario? Well, I'm pretty sure you already know that. The activation of this bullish scenario would be the reclaim of the 20 EMA on the weekly, which is this one right here, which will also most likely form a double bottom like this on the 4-hour. That would activate this bullish scenario. If this happens, I'm back in crypto. I'm moving my stable coins into Bitcoin, and I'm going to start hunting long ideas, long swing trades on altcoins all day, every day, right? Until that happens, this bearish scenario is very much active, very much active. What would invalidate this bearish scenario? It's exactly the same thing that would validate the bullish scenario. If we go up here, the short idea is gone, right? And as you can see right here as well, it's also a rejection of the area between the short reload zone, the 50% fib and the 618. So it almost hit the short reload zone right here. Breaking above this area right here, still inside the short reload zone, still inside a danger area, but it would definitely be much more bullish, right? So that's my plan going forward. That's my plan going forward. Unless Bitcoin can start forming a bullish market structure here and reclaim the weekly 20 EMA, I'm not going to be very bullish. I'm not going to go back into crypto. Another thing I'm really thinking about come Monday is the fact that ever since the new COVID variant was discovered, we were slowly but surely kind of transferring over to it looked like the global markets were entering a potential risk-off environment, right? So it looked like the global markets were entering a risk-off environment. We then started seeing the S&P 500 kind of dumping, right? And then, of course, as you probably noticed, on Friday, it closed incredibly bullish, right? Incredibly bullish. So if markets are ready to shift back into risk on territory, risk on mode, which it kind of looks like it is, because if you look at the S&P, I mean, come on, it's like crazy. So if the S&P 500 breaks into new all-time highs and creates a higher low on the daily in new all-time highs with the with the risk on narrative moving, of course Bitcoin is going to pump. I mean, of course Bitcoin is going to pump. It's no secret that Bitcoin is correlated to traditional markets, right? It's just that's just how it is, right? The question then becomes like we still need to wait for that confirmation, right? We can't just wait for the S&P 500 to break into new all-time highs and traditional market looking bullish and risk on and investors looking to buy risk asset, which Bitcoin is, right? We need to see that develop over a couple of days. We need to see that develop and become like a firm stance in the markets. And I think that is what will happen if Bitcoin, or yeah, if that happens, Bitcoin will definitely start reclaim the weekly 20 EMA, and I'm then confident that the Bitcoin bull market is going to continue with the risk on narrative for the global markets, right? That's what I'm thinking. But we're definitely on edge. We're definitely very close to invalidating the high time frame trend for Bitcoin and moving into a risk of environment. And if that happens, Bitcoin is gonna go lower. Bitcoin is gonna go lower. How low, nobody knows. But it's better to wait for the bottom to be in than to try to predict where the bottom is going to be. Right, guys. So that's a very clear plan for Bitcoin. I'm gonna soon be ending the live stream, but I'm gonna go through some questions. So if you have any questions, let me know if you have any questions. Yeah, you know what? Like this is important. I've been getting a lot of trolls, a lot of shit happening on Twitter and in my DMs, and I think the fact that I don't really care about the bias of the market. I don't really care if the market is bullish or bearish, because I share whatever I share to you guys, and that is based on price action, and I don't put any feelings in, like feelings or emotion in my trading, but I have done in the past. I have done in the past. Like when I was a new trader, I I loved my coins. I bought an altcoin. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna marry you, but then he kind of, she left me and with a bag, just like like you gotta be honest with you guys, like with yourself when you're trading. Like don't let people manage your bias. Like you gotta be honest with yourself. You gotta be thinking self. You gotta be independent. Like don't follow anyone. Do not follow anyone. Don't follow me. Like if you follow me, you're gonna lose money. You're gonna fuck up if you follow me, because you have no idea why I long something. You have no idea why, when I exit, when I enter, and based on what. Like you have to, whatever I say, get inspired and motivated, but please do not follow me blindly, because you have no idea really why I'm taking the trades I'm taking. You have to have a plan. You have to make a plan. So yeah, very, very important. Very, very important. Let's see if we have anything else. Slap me in the face, short. And interesting question. How do you view the future of trading like crypto self? There will be better and better computers, which makes me afraid. On the other hand, the big players needs to still, well, we adapt, you know what I mean? Like we follow. I don't know how to answer this really. There's always going to be, there's like we can always adapt. We can always like let's say, I don't know, man. I don't know. There's always going to be a way to adapt to the market. Like there's some crazy weird strategy out there, and I'm pretty sure we're going to find a way, even if we have some super, like AI is going to take over the world and kill us anyway. Like we're fucked anyway. So let's just enjoy it. Because computers getting powerful, like you said, and all of a sudden we have AI, and it's like we don't need trading because we're living in a fucking metaverse, eating fucking pills instead of food, and just running around in our metaverse world and being happy and not owning anything. That's the future mankind. So let's just trade and enjoy ourselves until that's here. Let's see. All right, so let's see. Like, do we have any real questions? Like, do we have any oh fuck it, let's look at some altcoins. So we got relative strength. Look at Luna. This one did not work out. Well, we did actually enter in profit, so it did kind of work out. But obviously this idea on as a whole, it kind of look at AVAX. Yeah, I'm gonna look at AVAX. I have a very clear plan on AVAX, which you should have known if you're in the Nest Club, Hamza. But yeah, I'll take a look at it for you. AVAX is definitely one of the ones I'm watching. I made a altcoin scan a couple of days ago, and you know, and by the way, guys, I'm not trading today. You should probably not be trading either. The market is shitty, like it's absolutely dog shit today. So like you probably shouldn't be trading. Look at this shitty PA. Like it's, unless you're like scalping on the 5 minutes, which is probably pretty profitable. Now look at this. Like what is this? What is this? Okay, it's just super boring, super stupid price action. You know, it's probably pretty obvious that you shouldn't be trading this. Fed Pete. All right, let's look at Fed quickly. Yeah, I like this. No, I don't like this. What is this? This is bad. It's really bad. I have no idea what I said I like this. So yeah, Fed. The most obvious place for bounce is like 25% lower than current price. If we get a reclaim of weekly open 0.6, that would be pretty good. So reclaim of 0.6, something like that. And I'm not bullish, but that would be a possible trade. But right now it looks really bad, really bad. But I found some coins that I'm actually quite interested in, quite interesting. So these are the only altcoins I'm watching right now. It's Luna, Matic, AVAX, BAT, HT, which is Huobi token, Near. Why do I have Near on here? Why is it pumping? Why is Near pumping today? Ever heard of QNT? All right, so you're gonna shoot. Is this pumping like crazy as well? Yeah, I've heard about QNT, but looks like a very bearish market structure. So what I would like to see is daily higher high and high low, something like that. Not interested. Not interested. But let's look at these. Dot. Let's go dot. Do we have dot? Bad. Really bad. Really bad. So generally, I want to go long on all coins that are above the daily and 50 EMA. Above the daily and 50 EMA, which is very few coins at this point. Tron, RMR key. What the fuck is that? RMR key. Oh man. Yeah, this is looking extremely bullish. You should probably buy this. I have no idea what it is. I'm not going to buy it, but you should. This is good. It's probably going to go higher. That's my analysis. It's probably going to go higher. And TP at 65 is probably good TP, and a stop loss somewhere below 40 is probably a good stop loss, but I'm not going to take that trade. VET, if it's below the daily 20 and 50 EMA, I'm not interested. This is really bad. This is really bad. It's really bad. Good night, Hamza. Good night, Hamza. This is bad. So for VET, reclaim a bullish market structure in the 4 hour, and so create higher highs and higher lows in the 4 hour, and I'm interested. Now, what I want to do, I want to go through this list quickly. So before does XLM have a future? No, it does not. So Luna, you know what? Let's look at XLM. I don't know. If you're talking about fundamentals, I have no goddamn idea. Fundamentals, I'm like I'm like that retarded cousin that is just weird. That's me when it comes to fundamental analysis. So yeah, let's go through this list quickly. We got Luna, which is in a very bullish market structure. We got Matic, which is in a very bullish market structure. We have AVAX, which is in a high time frame, very bullish market structure, but it's definitely losing levels here. So what I would like to see on AVAX right here is you can kind of see how we have a pretty decent high time frame level where we also have the daily 20 and 50 EMA. So a reclaim of the daily 20 and 50 EMA is what I'm looking at on AVAX. I think that would be a terrific trade. Now, if you're more, want to take some risk, I'm going to take a look at NEAR as well because it's on my list right here. So a move like this on AVAX, and I'm definitely going long. Definitely going long. These are one of the coins. Like, this is one of the coins that I'm looking to go long if Bitcoin bounces. Luna is in a really good area here. The problem with Luna, however, is the fact that it seems like quite likely that it might come down and test the, even as low as 50 before moving higher. But we are testing the monthly open right now in conflict with the daily 50 EMA, which looks really good. But the 4 hours is breaking market structure. So we need to wait for something to develop here, something obvious. It's not obvious right now, but we might very well see something obvious in the very near future. So I'm having Luna on my list right here. Matic. Did I speak about Matic? So Matic, I just have on my list. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to enter. I don't know if I should enter. I don't know what I'm looking at on Matic. All I know is I need to have it on my list because the daily chart looks absolutely fantastic. So it's holding a very good level here, the $2 area. So as long as it stays above the $2 area, I'm definitely going to go long on like a higher high and higher low in the 4 hour. It looks very good. Looks very good. But I'm not really sure exactly what I'm looking for here. I just have it on my list. And by the way, guys, like I strongly suggest that you guys check these coins. Have these coins on your watch list, because if Bitcoin turns out to be bullish, you want to be long these altcoins. And I'm not saying that because I'm trying to shill you some altcoins. Like I don't care really, because I don't own any of these, so it's not like I'm gonna dump on you guys. I'm just saying that I've been doing this for many years. many years, like no, not that long, like 4 years. But I have a very clear system when I'm scanning. I'm looking for relative strength, and if there is relative strength, it's a very high probability that some of these coins are going to run like crazy if Bitcoin turns bullish. So I'm not like, look at these, add these to your watch list, and just do it. Thank me later. So look at BAT. Now BAT, the reason why I have BAT on the list here is because should actually be at the low of the list, but it's because if we, it broke out of a major area right here, right? So it broke out of that level, started the daily market structure, and what I'm looking for now is for BAT to reclaim the daily 20 and 50 EMA. So we have an area right here, and we could be seeing a massive 4 hour W pattern forming here. And if we do get something like this, I am going to be very long on BAT. Very long, very tall on BAT, because it just looks very good in the high time frames. Huobi token, Huobi. Kind of name is that? Huobi. However you pronounce this token, this is the type of trade I'm looking for, because it can very clearly create a bullish market structure on the higher time frames. So that's just what I'm looking at, a break and retest of the 10 to 11 area on HT. And then we have NEAR, which is for some reason pumping. I don't know if they discovered some new COVID vaccine or something. I don't even know what this is, but I don't care because it looks good. It's probably hitting a trend line here. Yeah, about to hit that trend line. I think this is definitely something to keep your eyes on, and potentially long a bounce here. So if we come down and test the $10 area, so might go lower, test the $10 area, and then break above that trend line, that would be pretty cool. So a retest of the $10 area, perhaps complement with the 4 hour 20 EMA, and I would probably buy that. Okay. Very long and hard on BAT. You are weird. Guy made a video about Near. You think that pumped the price? All right. You know what? It's gonna be my last question. Very important one. Sand break and retest up 5.5 and we got along. Tesos, I don't know, man. I don't know. All right. All right. So, okay. How to learn alts and not fall victim to big YouTube influencers. All right. So, you're like, how do you fall victim to somebody on YouTube? All right. So if I showed you this scenario right here, okay? I showed you this scenario and told you that if this plays out for Bitcoin, I'm going to be long Bitcoin. And I think Bitcoin is going to be bullish. So if you buy here and then price just goes straight down like this, did you fall victim to me? You know, have I like? It's a weird thing to say. It's a weird thing to say because you're not a victim. You should be smart enough not to follow people's advice on YouTube, whoever that is. Whoever that is, you are most likely smart enough to understand that you have your own money. And if you take that money and buy something, it's your responsibility to research what the hell you're buying and why you're buying it and have a plan. Have a plan for that buy. And if it goes to shit and you lose everything, whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? Is it some guy on YouTube who got paid to tell you to buy it? No, you guys know this. Please do your own research. Please. If I tell you to buy an altcoin, it's not because it's because I'm looking at price action and I'm telling you if there's a higher high and higher low, I'm going to be buying and I'm going to be selling as soon as that gets validated. So how to learn altcoins is you learn how to trade. You learn how to use technical analysis and fundamental analysis to make your own conclusion if that is a good buy or not. Guys, on this last dip right here, I've seen so many people lose way too much money. Way too much money. And most people lost a lot of money because they believed in something that someone else said. Now, if that's the case, you can't blame anyone else than yourself. So before you buy something, before you invest in something, before you learn, like before you start trading, learn how to trade. Before you start invest, learn how to invest. And before you buy something, understand what you're buying. Do you think I'm sitting around all day just buying stuff because, you know, it's fun? Or because I've just heard somebody who told me to buy it and then I'm gonna, you know, that's not how it works. All right, so please educate yourself. Please educate yourself on trading before you trade. How accurate are your trades with your methods, and how long did it take to perfect your methods? So I'm constantly trying to perfect my methods. Every day is a new learning experience. Every losing trade is a new learning experience. So every day I'm trying to produce something new, right? And my win rate is so my win rate this month is 67%. My average win rate over the course of about 2 years is slightly over 50%. So slightly over 50% on my long-term win rate, and it goes, you know, up and down. And this month I'm at 67%. And you can follow me on Twitter at libs42. I'm quite clear about that. I share most of my statistics on there. I sometimes share some insight of my trading journal and the trades I take and why I took them and stuff like that. So definitely, if you're interested in that, check out at libs42. You can see my name under like whatever. It doesn't matter. And how long did it take to develop that? How long did it take to develop that? I started trading. I started investing in the beginning of 2017. I started learning TA in 2018, and I would say that I haven't really been very serious about trading. Well, I've always been very serious, like I've been obsessed with it, but I haven't really been seriously considering going professional since the last 2 years. And now I've been trading professionally full time for, I think, 1.5 years. And honestly, it's not until like 1.5 years ago when I started with the Forex market that I've really improved my trading a lot. So the system that I'm using today is a very simple trend following system, which is the only setup that I'm trading, the oldest system I'm trading. That one I've perfected by back testing and journaling, and trying to define my edge, and doing very detailed journal analysis once a week, and then once a month I do a monthly analysis of all my trades and all of that. And that's really how I've come to the conclusion that the system I'm using right now is the one I want to be using going forward, as long as the market allows me to do that profitably, right? But I'm also constantly adjusting, right? Because I do want to not increase my win rate. I'm very happy with my win rate, but what I want to do is I want to like I'm trying to optimize my take profit strategy, because I do believe that I recently figured out that most of my trade never hit last TP, right? So most of my trade never hit last TP, which means TP1 and TP2 gets hit most of the time. So maybe I should just scrap the TP3 and exit fully at TP2, so my winners become just a little bit bigger. And that's the stuff I'm working on right now. I want to create really develop a better edge in my take profit strategy, and with that, I believe I can add maybe 3 to 4% profit a month, and that would be massive. That would be really nice. That would take me to the next level, and kind of make me ready to maybe try to get funded and really start trading some huge amount of money. So that's kind of like that's my that's my goal, to try to develop the system in a way which I feel like it's just as good as it can be. But I think that's just a lifelong lesson. I think a trader is never going to be done with the your system. Your system is ever evolving, and then again, like, this system has worked for the last 2 years. It might not work next year. It's definitely at some point I have to change the system because of the way the market moves. Like, we're not always going to be in the same market conditions, right? Ever since COVID happened, I really do feel like it's been a wild market, like crazy volatility at times. So and that kind of shifted stuff around. I really do feel like it's a different market right now, different dynamics. Anyway, do you still think we are in a bull market? Good question. Yes, I do still think we are in a bull market, but the chances of us being in the bear market is very high, too high for me to be exposed to Bitcoin. But the fact that we're still seeing higher highs and higher lows on the daily, on the Bitcoin chart, then yes, I do still believe we are in a bull market, but I need to confirm that with a reclaim to 20 EMA and a weekly to really confirm that we are still in the bull market, because we are so close to invalidating the bull market. And yeah, the best entries, the best trades with the best and highest risk to reward are the trades where you enter as close to invalidation as possible. And that's pretty much where we are right now. All right. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining tonight. I would like to thank you all for being here with me tonight on this lonely Saturday night where I have nothing better to do than to sit around, watch price go up and down on the 1 minute chart while not taking a trade. All right, thank you. We'll see you guys in the next live. And for all the Nest Club members, I am holding a live on Monday and Tuesday next week. Take care, guys. I would like to say I love you all, but there's very few people that I actually do love. But we're getting there. All right, guys. Take care.